This was intended to be ASMR, but honestly at this point it's just sort of like me doing a feminist rant and talking about my personal life. But I tried to have a semi-calming voice throughout, so if you want to, you can just put some earbuds in and be like, okay, I'm going to bed now. But my voice gets kind of shrill when I get upset, so I would maybe not this time. So it's been a bit since I've seen you. Right now I'm getting ready for a band concert, and life is really crazy right now. So I'm just gonna get her done and put her up, and it's not necessarily gonna be like fantastic, but I mean, so what I'm gonna do today is I wanted to do ASMR with my women's studies textbook, because I'm taking a college course right now about women's studies, which is what I want to major in, and it's pretty lit. So I'm just gonna read The Cult of Virginity by Jessia Valenti, which was written in 2009, to you in a calming and soothing voice. I don't know, I just kind of wanted to document my course right now. So I was a sexually active teen, a term often used in tandem with phrases like at risk or alongside warnings about drug and alcohol use, regardless of how uncontroversial the sex itself might have been. Through the rest of high school, whenever I had a date, my peers assumed that I had had sex because my sexuality was defined by that one moment when my virginity was lost. It meant that I was no longer discriminating, no longer good. The perceived change in my social value wasn't lost to my parents either. Before I graduated high school, my mother found an empty condom wrapper in my bag and remarked that if I kept having sex, no one would want to marry me. Yikes! I realized that my experience isn't necessarily representative of most women's. Everyone has their own story, but there are common themes in so many young women's sexual journeys. Sometimes it's shame, sometimes it's violence, sometimes it's pleasure, and sometimes it's simply nothing to write home about. The idea that virginity, or loss thereof, can profoundly affect women's lives is certainly nothing new. But what virginity is, what it was, and how it's being used now to punish women and roll back their rights is at the core of the purity myth. Because today, in a world where porn culture and re-energized abstinence movements collide, the moral panic myth about young women's supposed promiscuity is diverting attention from the real problem, that women are still being judged, sometimes to death, on something that doesn't really exist, virginity. Let's see, is this like long enough that I shouldn't be reading this to you? Because I feel like it's pretty chunky. She's pretty thick. Alright. I found a good paragraph. Since I've become convinced that virginity is a sham being perpetuated against women, I decided to turn to other people to see how they count sex. Most say it's penetration. Some say it's oral sex. My closest friend Kate, a lesbian, has the best answer to date, a rule I've followed since she shared it with me. It isn't sex unless you've had an orgasm. That's a pleasure-based, non-heteronormative way of marking intimacy if I've ever heard one. Of course, this way of defining sex isn't likely to be very popular among the straight male sex, given that some would probably end up not counting for many of their partners. Go off! This has much to do with the fact that virgin is almost always synonymous with woman. Virgin sacrifices, popping cherries, white dresses, supposed vaginal tightness, you name it. Outside of the occasional reference to the male virgin in the form of a goofy movie about horny teenage boys, virginity is pretty much all about women. Even the dictionary definitions of virgin cite an unmarried girl or woman, or a religious woman, especially a saint. No such definition exists for men or boys. It's this inextricable relationship between sexual purity and women, how we're either virgins or not virgins, that makes the very concept of virginity so dangerous and so necessary to do away with. The desirable virgin is sexy but not sexual. She's young, white, and skinny. She's a cheerleader, a babysitter. She's accessible and eager to please. Remember those ethics of passivity. She's never a woman of color. She's never a low-income woman or a fat girl. She's never disabled. Virgin is a designation for those who meet a certain standard of what women, especially younger women, are supposed to look like. As for how these young women are supposed to act, a blank slate is best. Bam! Alright, well, That wasn't as riveting as I hoped it would be. But, alas, here we are. So, I think that's all I have for now. I need to put my hair up. Have a good day. Bye.